My clients are Victoria and Ian, a very young professional couple, recently married, and this is their first home together. They both had very clear vision for this house, how they wanted it to feel, but they not necessarily knew how to get there. And when they reached out to me, they were specifically asking me on the layout, on the scale of the furniture, and especially selection of finishes that would give this house modern look, but with respect to the heritage of the house. When you enter the house, the first room that you see is a very bright, sunlit vestibule. I loved everything about that space. Just needed some planning, functionality, and set the tone for the rest of the house. I started sketching on the pictures that I took at my first visit. I knew that I can design a storage unit that would help my clients to store all their shoes and keys and scarves and mitts. And also I could design a bench for them to sit and put the shoes on and greet the guests. And the umbrella stand was a little detail that sometimes you get to the corners when you don't know how to terminate your design and you start thinking. And those areas usually gets the most interesting details at the end. And this umbrella stand was a good example of that situation. So we loved it at the end. The foyer, hallway, and the stairs were, I think, the most genuine to historical feel of the house. I love original wainscoting, stained glass, all the trim around the doors. I didn't really change much. All I thought I could work with color, change the texture of the stain on the wood, just make it a little bit less shiny. New runner, new tile, new paint, and that was my plan. A lot of clients think the wallpaper is gonna date the house. They still have perception that it's kind of from old days. And it took a little bit of convincing and a little bit of pushing, but eventually they agreed on that choice, and I think we'll love it. They told me the kitchen, it looks all right, and we kind of have to be mindful of the budget, so why don't we keep the kitchen as is and just work on the other rooms? And I felt like this kitchen definitely needs some love. I totally understood that the budget would not allow me to go with a completely new kitchen. My idea was to keep as much as I could, but at the same time give them more functionality, better lighting, and just a more refined built-in look. We can definitely keep the base cabinets and the countertops, but I suggested to design completely new custom upper cabinets that will work with the base cabinets, and then just refinish the cabinets with a new paint. Vicky is very specific on the color. We went with the Jack Pine from Benjamin Moore and add nice backsplash to existing countertops to get texture, to support the feel of the house. When I visited the house, it was a completely empty room, except for the very big radiator under the window. And I was asking Svetlana, can we do something about this piece? And this house just spoke to me from my first visit. Right away I said, yeah, we can build around and actually make it a lot more functional. I could design kind of a console table that would have some storage inside, some metal doors that would allow the air to circulate. They already purchased the table and I loved it. It was a beautiful American walnut, beautifully done. They wanted me to give them my input on the chairs that would go with the table, the finishes, the leather selection, so I helped them with that, but it was their choice and I really liked the modern lines and it gave me a lot of inspiration for the rest of the space. In the living room, they wanted to have a new fireplace, bigger insert with a stone mantel, and I was actually very excited for the opportunity to look for exotic marble for this house. I had a vision for introducing this a little bit of a purpley veining in this color scheme. It was working with the other colors that I used in the room. In terms of the furniture selection, my intention was to find furniture that's still comfortable but would be right proportion for the scale of this room. I was looking for the chairs that are a little bit lighter in the feel. I was looking for the sofa with the more slim profile. I had to introduce many textures in this setting to make it look inviting, cozy, and refined and elegant, all of it. The back room, it was just like empty white shell with the most hideous finishes. Like it was the most neglected room in the house, I feel. And because of a small space, I felt like we can go a little bit more creative in this space. I definitely wanted to introduce a wallpaper there that would make this room feel bigger and more finished. And I could do something interesting on the floor because it's a very small square footage. So we decided to go with these geometric tiles. And my clients love the tile from the first time. I like when you bring your samples and everything that you bring gets their eyes like sparkle and it's like, oh, we love it. Oh, we didn't think of it, but we love it. Even though it started at just working on a couple of rooms, it eventually grew in a more substantial project that allowed me to bring the original flair of the house from the start into the very end of it, including now very beautiful kitchen that is my favorite, I can say right now. And I have to say the space now definitely reflects my clients' creativity, their personality. It does feel modern now, it feels fresh, and it's not too serious, just the way I envisioned that.